You walked up to the counter, looked the fishmonger in the eye, and picked out something that actually looked like it came from the ocean. The shrimp smelled fresh. The salmon had that deep, vibrant color. And you didn't have to wonder how long it had been sitting under fluorescent lights, slowly becoming a biohazard. Back then, seafood shopping felt almost trustworthy, but those days, mostly gone. While you've been casually tossing frozen shrimp into your cart or grabbing a fresh filler on your lunch break, some grocery stores have quietly turned their seafood departments into a full-blown gamble. We're talking fish that's been previously frozen but sold as fresh, shrimp that tastes like rubber bands soaked in salt water, and seafood counters that smell more like a dock at low tide than anything you'd want near your dinner table. The difference between a good seafood counter and a terrible one, it can mean the difference between a genuinely great dinner and spending $25 on a salmon fillet that tastes like it's been thawed and refrozen 3 separate times by 3 separate people who didn't care. So today we're breaking down the 6 grocery stores you should never buy seafood at. And then, because we're not monsters, the 5 that actually do it right. Because life's too short to gamble on fish that smell suspicious. And hey, smash that subscribe button because we're about to save you from some seriously sketchy seafood counters. Number 6, Walmart. Let's be honest, Walmart is exceptional at a lot of things. Keeping prices low, selling bulk paper towels, providing an existential crisis at 2 a.m. But seafood? That's where the magic dies. The fundamental problem is scale. When you're running thousands of locations and optimizing relentlessly for cost, quality becomes collateral damage. The majority of Walmart's seafood arrives already frozen, gets thawed at the store, then gets displayed as fresh. You're not buying fresh fish. You're buying previously frozen fish on its second life cycle, and the clock is ticking. Reddit grocery worker threads are illuminating. Employees describe inconsistent rotation schedules, counters that don't get cleaned as often as you'd hope, and a general culture where seafood is just another SKU to move, not something that requires care. Customer reviews frequently mention mushy salmon, shrimp with a texture best described as aggressively rubbery, and that particular smell that tells you something has been sitting a bit too long. Location matters too. A Walmart in a coastal city might have reasonable turnover. A Walmart in a landlocked suburb, that fish has been on a journey, and not a good one. Buying seafood at Walmart is like buying sushi at a gas station. Technically possible, but emotionally risky. Bottom line, Walmart excels at low prices, not at low tide. Number 5, Dollar General/dollar stores. Oh, you didn't know Dollar General sold seafood? They do. And the fact that you're surprised is itself the warning. Dollar store seafood is almost entirely frozen. And not the good kind of frozen, where a reputable processor flash froze a quality product right off the boat. We're talking low-grade imports, questionable sourcing, and freezers that may or may not be maintaining optimal temperatures or with any real consistency. The customer complaints tell a familiar story: freezer burn, shrimp that tastes disturbingly watery, as though someone stretched the actual shrimp content with pure disappointment, and fish with a post-thaw odor that doesn't say dinner. It says call someone. There are things Dollar General does well: cheap cleaning supplies, off-brand snacks, a certain deeply American sadness. Seafood is simply not on that list. Dollar store seafood tastes like the ocean, if the ocean was stored in a freezer for 3 years. Bottom line, this is not the place to source your Friday night fish fry, full stop. Number 4, Aldi gets a lot of well-deserved love for delivering solid products at genuinely aggressive prices. Their cheese, excellent. Their wine, surprisingly drinkable. Their seafood, more complicated. Aldi's model relies heavily on frozen supply chains, which, in fairness, isn't automatically bad. Flash frozen at sea can actually be great. The issue is the vacuum-packed fish sitting in Aldi's refrigerated cases for uncertain stretches of time before anyone buys it. The price is right. You're just never entirely sure when right quietly became acceptable risk. Texture inconsistencies dominate the complaints. Fish that cooks up watery, shrimp without that satisfying snap. Aldi has made real efforts on sustainability certifications for some products, and credit where it's due. That matters. But certifications don't fix timing problems in a refrigerated case. Bottom line, frozen from Aldi, prepared from fully frozen, acceptable. The fresh refrigerated stuff. Proceed with caution in your nose. Number 3, Target, we love Target. We love the way it tricks us into spending $180 when we went in for shampoo. We love the aesthetic, the vibe, the little Starbucks by the entrance. What we don't love is the seafood, because Target was never designed to be a seafood specialist, and it shows. The selection is limited. Almost everything is prepackaged. There are no fishmongers, no fresh counter, no one to tell you when that salmon arrived and how it's been stored. It's a convenience purchase, nothing more. Fish that turns mushy when cooked is the headline complaint, a classic sign of seafood that's been handled improperly or sat too long. Some packaged salmon draws reviews mentioning an odd smell that should have been a deal breaker before it ever made it to the pan. Target is optimizing for convenience and brand experience. Seafood quality requires specialization, consistent cold chain management, and trained staff. That's just not Target's business. Their business is selling you cute throw pillows and making you feel great about it. Target is great for throw pillows, terrible for throwing a dinner party with fresh fish. Bottom line, buy your candles at Target, buy your fish somewhere else. Number 2, Kroger, lower tier locations. Here's the complicated truth about Kroger. At its best, it can be genuinely solid. Some locations have well-maintained counters, real turnover, and staff who know what they're doing. Those stores? Fine. But Kroger is a massive chain with enormous variability, and at its worst, particularly in lower budget or lower traffic locations, the seafood department becomes a cautionary tale. Recommending Kroger seafood as a category is almost meaningless because the range is so wide. The consistent bad location complaints, fish older than the label suggests, fillets that look dull and dry under counter lighting that seems specifically designed to hide the problem, and seafood counter maintenance that leaves something to be desired. When customer reviews repeatedly mention fish looking gray, those aren't aesthetic complaints. That's freshness data. Bottom line, if you have a great Kroger near you with a busy, well-staffed department, you might be fine. If you have any doubt about your specific location, that doubt is information. Trust it. Number 1, worst, wait, we already roasted them. Let's call an honorable mention for any gas station selling fresh seafood. You know who you are. We will not be naming names. We will only say no. All right, we've covered the stores where buying fish is a risk management exercise. Now let's talk about the chains that actually give a damn. Number 5, Safeway/Albertsons. Safeway and Albertsons won't blow your mind. This isn't the seafood counter that becomes a local legend, but what they do is something underrated. They're reliably decent, better staffing at the seafood counter than most mid-tier chains, more consistent freshness rotation, sourcing that's not particularly glamorous, but is generally trustworthy. They sit squarely in the solid mid-tier category. And sometimes that's exactly what you need on a Tuesday night, when you just want salmon that tastes like salmon. Bottom line, not exciting, not a gamble. That's worth something. Number 4, Wegmans. If you live in a Wegmans region, you already know. And if you don't have a Wegmans, I'm genuinely sorry. Wegmans takes its seafood department seriously in a way that most grocery chains simply don't. In-store fishmongers, actual people with actual knowledge. A supply chain that prioritizes freshness over cost-cutting. Consistent customer praise for salmon and shellfish that look and taste like they came from somewhere real recently. The seafood counter at a good Wegmans feels closer to a specialty fish market than a grocery store department. That's the goal. Wegmans generally achieves it. Bottom line, if Wegmans is accessible to you, it belongs in your seafood rotation. End of discussion. Number 3, Costco. Here's something counterintuitive. The warehouse store with the giant pallets and the forklift traffic does seafood remarkably well. The secret is turnover. Costco moves an enormous volume of product, which means the fish doesn't sit around long enough to become a problem. Their sourcing standards are stricter than most people realize, and sushi-grade options are regularly available in some locations. The kind of quality that would cost you significantly more at a specialty retailer. Yes, you're buying enough shrimp to feed a small coastal village. Yes, you'll need freezer space. But the quality to price ratio at Costco's seafood section is genuinely difficult to beat. Costco doesn't just sell fish. They sell enough fish to feed a small fishing village. And somehow it's still fresh. Bottom line, embrace the bulk. Your freezer and your wallet will thank you. Number 2, Whole Foods. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, whole paycheck jokes write themselves. But here's the thing about Whole Foods and seafood. The standards are real. Their sourcing policies are strict. Sustainability certifications aren't just marketing, there's actual accountability behind them. Staff training in the seafood department is notably better than most competitors, and the quality across most locations is consistently excellent. You're paying a premium, but unlike some of the stores at the top of this list, you're actually getting something for that premium. When you spend $30 on fish at Whole Foods, it generally tastes like $30 a fish. When you spend $25 at Walmart, well, you've seen that segment. Bottom line, expensive but honest. For special occasions or when quality genuinely matters, Whole Foods delivers. Number 1, Publix. The number 1 spot goes to a regional chain, and if you're from the Southeast, you're nodding right now. Publix has built one of the strongest seafood counter reputations in American grocery retail. Not by accident, but by treating seafood like a specialty product and not an afterthought. Skilled fishmongers, high freshness standards with consistent rotation, sourcing that earns genuine trust from customers who've been shopping there for years. The customer praise for Publix seafood is remarkably consistent across reviews and reports. Fresh fish that looks fresh, smells fresh, and, crucially, cooks and tastes fresh. That sounds like the baseline. At a lot of the stores on the first half of this list, it isn't. Publix treats seafood like a specialty market, not an afterthought. That's why it's number 1. Bottom line, if you're in Publix territory, you're in good hands. It's that simple. And there you have it, the full seafood rankings, no filter. On the avoid list, Walmart, dollar stores, Aldi, Target, and Kroger's sketchier locations. These aren't places that respect the fish, they respect the margin. On the yes list, Safeway for reliability, Wegmans for actual expertise, Costco for volume done. Right, Whole Foods when quality matters more than your wallet, and Publix, the undisputed king of the grocery seafood counter. 3 rules before you ever buy fish again. Smell it, ask when it arrived, and if it looks dull, walk away. Because bad seafood isn't just a disappointing dinner, it's $25 and a stomachache and a lesson you didn't need to learn the hard way. Shop smarter, eat better. We'll see you in the next one.